because I can retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame. He couldn't. Like everything that I've accomplished, he's still trying to accomplish.
I feel as though Errol had a great career. If it wasn't for Bud, he would have been undisputed. So he went and got every belt one by one by one. Um, I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Do you not think Spence will be in the Hall of Fame?
Right now, no, how?
Yeah,
And
he's
that,
right, dude. He's right.
how?
You would
Like
be.
he fought in one division.
So there has been a debate going around in the boxing world if Errol Spence is a legitimate Hall of Fame fighter or not. I've seen so much different comments and opinions from fighters and fans, and no doubt about it, Errol Spence is a Hall of Fame fighter. His pay-per-view numbers are legitimate. His fan base is legitimate, and you don't do those type of numbers on pay-per-view, and you don't build that type of fan base by being just your average fighter in the boxing game. Let's take a look at his resume. You have your Dennis Ugas, you have Sean Porter, you have Danny Garcia, you have Mikey Garcia, you have Cal Brook, you have Chris Algieri. No doubt about it, Errol Spence has always fought the best that division has to offer. It just so happened that Crawford was the one to stop him in his tracks from being undisputed. But regardless, if Crawford stopped him, he still fought Terrence Crawford. He signed up to fight Manny Pacquiao. Obviously, Errol Spence got an injury. We still haven't got the fight with Keith Thurman, but no doubt about it, Errol Spence would have fought every single one of those guys. And for how long, the route that Errol Spence went to capture one title at a time, the WBC, the IBF, and the WBA, and for how long he held those titles, and he just so happened to come short against Terrence Crawford, another great fighter. I think what hurts Errol Spence's case is this is the first time we've ever seen Errol Spence falling down and take a major loss in his career. And we don't get to see the aftermath of what he's going to do as being a former champion. Champions get knocked down and they get back up. And we have not seen this from Errol Spence. I think this is what really, I don't want to say damages career, but this is really what doesn't help his case. Do I think he's still a Hall of Fame fighter? Yes, he is a Hall of Fame fighter in my book, no doubt about it. But champions get back up and they still continue to fight and they still continue to build them back up. So I don't know. Obviously, Errol Spence has a heart. He's tough, but why hasn't Errol Spence came back? Is he going to sit on this loss forever? Is he going to mess with his mental game forever where he just doesn't want to get back in the sport of boxing for whatever reason? That is the biggest case right now for Errol Spence. Are we going to see Errol Spence back in the ring? Are we going to see what Errol Spence can do after falling down in his career one time? Is Errol Spence going to continue to act like this every single time he loses a big fight? But I think one fight that does make sense and is somewhat, I think, of a 50-50 fight, because this fighter and this fighter not being active or being somewhat active, is Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman. Obviously, we all wanted to see that fight. And maybe Errol Spence stayed at 147 a little bit too long, and maybe he couldn't make that weight. And he was talking about how he got a nutritionist. No doubt about it, Errol Spence should move up to 154. I get 147 being undisputed was the goal, but that doesn't mean that your career stops there just because you lost to another elite fighter. Go up to 154 and challenge yourself. I get you don't take no tune-ups. I get you don't want no rollover fight, but Keith Thurman right now is what makes sense for him if he wants to get his name back on track. And there's a lot of young, hungry lions and established lions at 154 if Errol Spence can get back in the mix. But is Errol Spence a Hall of Fame fighter? No doubt about it. Let me know what you guys think about all this, and I'll catch you in the next one. I'm out.